Hello, it is the Champagne Rugby Podcast with Sam
You've
and
made
Tony.
yourself giggle straight away.
Yeah, I made myself laugh by just saying hello. I don't think I've ever heard a podcast start with someone saying
Hello.
hello. But, now we have. You're listening to the Champagne Rugby Podcast from the Export Beer Garden studio. It is Rugby World Cup. We're in the swing of things
I'm
now,
Sam Smith.
I already introduced you vaguely.
Did you? I wasn't listening. I was too
Yeah, I
busy
said
to pointing out the
Sam.
fact that you made yourself laugh by saying the word hello.
Yeah, well, I'm a funny guy. What can I say?
You are funny. You do have great material, like saying
Very.
the word hello.
I did that on stage last week. Went up, said hello, crushed. Everyone laughed. They were cracking up.
Did you do it again? Did you close by saying goodbye?
No, I closed by saying hello again. They laughed.
Oh, callback.
Call back.
Yeah, really good writing. Well done.
Rugby World Cup, our second week is basically done. There's a couple more games in this round. For the most part, it's been wrapped up. And, ooh, what a round it's been.
What a fantastic game of Goliaths stomping all over Davids, apart from one game where they were kind of matched.
And that game where they were matched was New Zealand, Namibia, two equal teams, and we came out on top.
We absolutely smoked them. A fantastic tweet by Jacques Berger, who tweeted, what was it? What was the exact wording? It was very good. He basically said, it's the ref's fault that we lost that one.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Great call.
Yeah.
Fantastic tweets.
And what a game, 71-3 in the end. I think we both picked, not far off, I think I picked 81-7 and you
I
might...
picked 87.
Oh, no, I picked 81-5. So, we're both basically right.
We're basically the best at this.
Well, I mean, it's fairly obvious. I thought we might have had a few more points in us, but it always gets hard.
I think we
in those
almost
games.
did. We had many disallowed tries, which were like D-Max one, we dropped it just before the line.
Yeah.
We had a number of those ones.
It was also pissing it down.
Yeah.
It was atrocious conditions. The All Blacks played France, and I think it was 30 degrees at 9 o'clock at night. This week they play Namibia down in Toulouse, and it's Toulon or wherever the fuck it is. And Toulouse, yeah. When I said it, I was like, is that a place? It doesn't sound like a place.
Toulouse sounds like what Australia's down to do this week.
Oh! We'll get to that. In Toulouse, and it was pissing it down. It was crazy.
Like playing underwater.
It was watching you. It's that sort of rain when if you're doing like getting out of the car in it, you just sort of sit in the car and let it pass because it can't last long. Otherwise, we'd have a Noah's Ark situation.
That's right. Did is underwater rugby a thing?
Underwater hockey's a thing.
They should do underwater rugby. That
I
sounds
think
awesome.
water polo almost.
Yeah, I always feel like that's on top of the water. That's like
Well, they're not.
That's
they're as submerged as you can be, really.
No, I think if you're 100% under the water, then you're as
Like
submerged as
scuba
you can.
diving.
Yeah, like the Titanic is submerged as you can
I
be.
think a couple of those guys were, playing rugby, but it didn't last long. I think I'm certain if you Googled underwater rugby, there would be like a bunch of massive virgins who all got scuba gear and went down and played like a game.
Oh, they're doing scuba gear.
Yeah, I reckon they
that's
would have
cool.
done it.
Like the tanks.
You see like nude rugby is a big thing. It was a big thing in Dunedin for a while. When I was down there before a test, there'd be like a nude game.
I know a lady who refereed that. Her name is Julie Wood. She's fantastic. She is 100% blind, and she refereed that game, and I think that is so awesome.
That is good.
Shout out, Julie. You're awesome.
And I'm sure after her running around nude, she wasn't
nude.
She wasn't the only Wood in there. Oh no, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't nude. At least I don't think so.
Well, how would she know?
That's a very good point. Yeah, blind people famously can't tell whether they're wearing clothes or not. That's a fact.
Well, I'm glad we've got off to a controversial start.
Great. We try to do it every week and we've nailed it.
Yeah, it's nice to know that this is your podcast if you want. Comedians who are about to be cancelled by talking about rugby. 71-3, I was pretty happy with this effort. I think we had like a whole different team roll in and out, a bunch of players who we haven't seen too much of, and boy, oh boy, did they show. I think the important thing here to remember is, and I don't want to shit on Namibia, but it was against Namibia. So I think there's people being like, oh, Cam Roigard, he's better than Aaron Smith. Oh, D-Mac, get him in over Richie. It is still Namibia.
Yeah.
I think it's great that they played well. It's great that they played really strongly. Cam Roigard as well. I think especially so. But, I mean, I think we just need to chill out, take a chill pill, chillax, take a chillaxative.
What is a chill pill? Is that amitriptyline?
I think it's Xanax.
Xanax.
Yeah.
Is that amitriptyline still?
I don't know, man. What am I, a doctor?
I think you're doing brand names and I'm doing the medical names.
Well, I am a shill of Big Pharma, so I'm always a Xanax sort of guy. I'm a...
what does a shill mean? That means you're working for them.
Yeah, they pay me to shill for them, yeah.
Oh my gosh! And Xanax is your thing.
I'm a Viagra. I only
That's
Viagra.
That's a Pfizer. We know Pfizer.
I'm the COVID vaccine. Well, I guess that's what it's called. I have no idea. No, I'm not. He had a shelf there. But yeah, that's all I mean, unless they're listening, I would happily share.
Please do. We are happy to be shillers for
We'll do anything.
for Pfizer. Imagine if we got all the free Viagra we can get. It'd be amazing.
It would be a nice little perk. An unexpected perk for doing a rugby podcast. But no, what I'm trying to say here is that I think it's great. We're stepping in the right direction after a tough game against France. But let's just take it with a grain of salt and remember the players that didn't play. They're still great players, and we shouldn't get too carried away.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It was just nice to see some flowing rugby. The backs got a run. The forwards, they were there too.
They also were there.
They were some lineouts. Namibia were great. Well done, Namibia.
Yeah.
Enjoy the wooden
They gave it a crack. We also saw, I'd say, probably one of the more brutal injuries you're likely to see
oh my gosh.
in a game of rugby. A guy's leg came off.
That was incredibly hilarious.
Poor bastard. It was one of those ones where they didn't replay it, which I thought was interesting. I noticed in the NRL, Ryan Pappenhausen snapped his ankle, and they played it a few times. They're not worried about playing, and everyone's going, oh, Jesus
His
Christ.
foot faced in the wrong direction.
Yeah, he picked it up. I just happened to glance down and thought, that is a real Daryl Tuffy.
I heard did Daryl Tuffy do that?
No, it's just, slang.
Oh, just a tough one, yeah. I was imagining that he just ran in with one of his wee fast bowls, old Daryl Tuffy, snapped an ankle.
In one of his 12 ball overs.
Yeah.
Accidentally put his foot in the wrong place.
It snapped. I heard that the All Blacks gave the Namibia guy, I forget his name, but
Coetzee.
The number 12. What was it?
Is it Coetzee?
Coetzee. It probably is. Everyone's called that.
Yeah.
They gave him a signed number 12 All Blacks jersey.
Oh, great.
Really nice.
And he was like, "Can I have a new leg?"
Yeah. Please, could I have some pain relief?
I'd love the green whistle.
Maybe some Xanax.
Yeah, I'd love to have a hoon on the green with the green whistle. I also like it when people are injured. They cart them off, and there's like this sort of I don't know, almost tradition or expectation on the player as they're getting carted off to do a bit of a thumbs up. Yeah. And I know he did it. He's like, thumbs up. And I was like, mate, you don't have to do it. You're fucked.
I'm okay. I've got another foot.
Your whole leg is so broken. Like, just take the day. You don't have to make the crowd feel better. Because he does thumbs up, and we as a crowd go, oh, thank God, it's not that bad. But it's very bad. His leg's broken.
Speaking of the green whistle, we saw him breathing in a bag of oxygen, which we've never seen before in rugby. That just doesn't happen. That guy was in immense pain. He was dead.
It must have been so sore. As the players ran off down the tunnel, I saw a couple of the All Blacks kind of having a chat about it with each other, and all I could think of was like, they're talking about the broken leg.
Yeah.
They have to. The ref went over and was like, no. I don't know if I've seen a ref sort of go, oh, put his hands up and turned around and was like, I'm in looking at that shit. And then he like waved the guy over, and he didn't go. Normally the ref is the one who's supposed to go over and be like, hey guys, that's gross, but let's get this sorted. But he buggered off. He was like, nah, no thank you.
But they heard they left his mic on. I heard him go, ooey, 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 yuck.
He goes, oh, gross. Cover that up.
Put that away. This is a professional rugby game. We are not here to see a twisted foot like that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And you have to feel for the players who get injured, who do play for a team like Namibia. This is the big dance. Like they've come all the way to France. This is the huge showcase for them and a chance for them to play high-level rugby in front of packed stadiums. So when they get injured, or in a few other cases when players getting sent off, I saw, I think a Portuguese bloke karate kick someone in the face as he went to catch a high ball. He got yellow carded, upgraded to red. He'll probably get a couple of weeks off. You just feel so bad for them.
Isn't it crazy that someone got a red card for kicking someone in the face?
Well, he went out to take a high ball, and he sort of turned as he fell, and his leg came up. And
we've seen it many times before.
He ran into his foot. He wasn't looking at him. I think that might get thrown out, hopefully. I just want to see him play some more. Again, in our game, red card, Ethan de Groot.
Exactly right. That's what I was about to say. Like, a guy kicked someone in the face, and de Groot tackled a guy, no arms, admittedly, and to the face, and to the head, I mean. And he's getting the same thing. It feels a bit,
I agree with Fozzie that there was a lot of shoulder on shoulder in that contact.
I think so as well.
He didn't wrap his arm, and I think that's, obvious.
That's the yellow card.
That's the yellow card for sure, and I think he'll probably be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty tough if he's out into the playoff rounds, because it really was. There is a point when those guys get so low that you have to get your body behind it, and you have to use your shoulder in some capacity. But he needed to he had his arm down there.
His arm was right in next to him. He flopped it into him.
Which actually is, I felt this was pretty concerning. We're playing Namibia, a team which we were probably going to have an easier day out against the whole time. But we still gave away like 13 penalties.
We are nailing penalties. We get so many of them. We are going to win the penalty World Cup.
It makes me furious.
I think there's an extra like shield or something that you get for getting the most penalties, and so far we are doing great.
We have to have 13 penalties. It's offsides. Like, we're 20 metres out and the player's getting pinged for offside. Sammy Whitelock's rolling around in the ruck getting pinged. And it's not going to count against us against Namibia. Look, they just wanted to score a try. That's all they're keen for. They kicked one penalty, but after that they're like, But if this is like a playoff game, that's the difference in the game. It's giving away. Surely when we went out, we're like, hey, our discipline against France was awful. So today let's tidy that up, And everyone was like, what if we don't?
Yeah, but what if we just do more penalties?
What if we just do more penalties?
Maybe this could be a strategy. Oh my gosh, Ian Foster, you're a genius. What they're doing is they're getting the All Blacks to get all their penalties out of the way in these other games, so that everyone's be like, hey, the All Blacks are just going to give us heaps of penalties, so we'll just rely on that. And then when it comes to playoff time, they're just going to click it on. They're going to suddenly not give away any penalties. People will be like, hey, we were going to kick a bunch of stuff. That was our main strategy. And we're like, bam, 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 try time, 35-0 every single game.
We're lulling them into it.
Exactly right.
I mean, I don't think
Ian
it's
Foster,
intentional.
you're a genius.
I don't think it's intentional, but that can still happen. We can still not give away as many penalties because, shit, there was so many. And a red card. Come on, man. A red card. It's only the 10th ever.
I reckon... What was it? It was 3 red cards until Sonny Bill got one in like 4 years ago. And then
Scott Barrett's got about 6 since then.
and Geordie's got one as well. I read a thing that the Barrett brothers have had 30% of all the red cards in All Black history, which is real funny. It's 2 for Scott and 1 for Geordie. No, Bodie still hasn't got one, but maybe we can fill the trifecta this
He's a bloody cow.
next game. And we can
roll
get
your sleeves up, Bodie, and smash someone in the face.
Kick someone in the face with your sprigs,
Do
please.
a karate kick. We've, of course, got a man on the ground over there in France, James McOnie. He's unable to get in touch, but he has left us a lovely little recording of his time. So we're going to cast over to France now and get in contact with James McOnie.
I hope he tells us about the vibes.
Bonsoir and kia ora from Paris. Just got back from a week down south in Bordeaux and Toulouse, and of course there was quite a bit to lose really in that game against Namibia, and they did lose. Ethan de Groot for a couple of weeks. I am Groot went too high in a tackle. There's no need really when you're thrashing the pants off a minnow, which is the spanking of the minnows has been a big talking point really, and we can get to that soon. But look, what do you take out of the All Blacks game? Everybody loved a bit of Cam Roygaard, up the guard. He was pretty good at halfback, and I know he had the armchair ride, didn't he? But I'm a big fan too of Lester Fainga'anuku. I just think he needs to be in the mix. And same as D-Mac, the Maverick. You need that someone who's still got joy in his heart, wants to run the ball and do just weird shit. And I was impressed by American Dad, Luke Jacobson. He was roughly subbed, wasn't he, in that the game against South Africa, and then dropped for the game against France. And look, just seeing him out there running around with his giant Cambridge muscles was impressive. So yeah, Namibs, once again, the minnows. Look, clearly there are too many teams in this World Cup. It needs to go back to 16, and that still means a couple of minnows can make the cut and be in the big show and the big dance. But apart from monetary, there's no value in having so many mismatches in the tournament. But countries like Italy, Japan and Scotland are probably saying, keep the minnows, let them stay. We want to have a comfortable win too. We keep them out, keep them around. But, if you're shooting fish in a barrel and it's the minnows, then, did I say shooting fish in a barrel or in a barrack? If you're shooting either of those fish, then it's not a proper contest and could get dangerous, right? A couple of those scrums against Namibia, I was thinking, ugh, you don't want to, they're part-timers, they've got jobs, they're busy during the week. They haven't got time to build up their giant neck muscles like the pros. But anyway, they should have a second-tier World Cup because, if Romania had a ya-ya ding-dong battle with Chile, then everyone would be into it. The players would be pumped too, and imagine the victory and the celebrations. And before you have a bleat about that, second-tier competitions, they go hard. Commonwealth Games, promotion and relegation battles in multiple codes, breakers in the NBL, welcome to Wrexham. There's all lower-tier stuff there where there's a lot of passion and fervour and lots of fan engagement and expectation. So it'll still happen. But anyway, the big news tonight is Fiji. Fiji beating the Wallabies. They were amazing. They actually kicked 5 penalties, so they definitely deserve to be a Tier 1 nation now for kicking it old school. There was one try to Joshua Tuisova, and we'll get to him soon, but I was thinking about maybe a song for NZR Plus, who I'm working for over here, or the ACC, and I've only got one lyric so far. Fiji wipe the floor with Australia like a squeegee. It's a start, okay? It's just an acorn right now. But anyway, even though it's an upset, I think the bookies had Fiji, pretty even, with a lot of websites predicting a Fiji win by 1-12 as the best bet, and they were right. I didn't put any money on it. Hopefully G Lane did. But it was a great day, great to see the victory by that amazing Fijian team. They've got some big stars, but they're also mix and match. Like, they had a second five playing open side flanker, even though, and they had a winger playing second five. So Lavani Botia, unreal defender. He played flanker. He's a legend in France, playing for La Rochelle, mainly at second five, which is where he played for Fiji in the last couple of World Cups, I think. And then Tuisova is a superstar. He's played mainly on the wing for Toulon, and I think, who else has he played for? Lyon as well. And yeah, he's just so impressive. Oh no, he's just played for Toulon, has he? Anyway, it doesn't matter. He was man of the match. He's a bulldozer. He was basically cutting people in half, yards after contact, yakage, the yak, as they call it in American football. Amazing. And then the captain, Waisea Naya-Thelevu, he's the centre. He's played 200 games for Stade Francais before joining Toulon. He's 6'4". That's 1.93 m in the new money. If you named a world for 15 right now, he'd be the centre, easy. So, yeah, Bula Fiji, loved it. It's just so great to see them do their thing. And now Eddie Jones is totally in the shiitake mushrooms. He's in big trouble. Well, his team is, I guess. The fans booed him at the stadium, and Eddie sort of joked, "Oh, they should be throwing baguettes or croissants at me." And he's slowly losing the plot. I'm actually worried about Eddie, so let's try and protect him a little bit in some ways. Steve Hansen, though, as has been mentioned on this podcast, did a great inside job sabotaging the Wallabies. And I think in the changing room after the game tonight, Hansen probably had something delivered like a card or a cake, and written on it would have been the words, "You've been shagged. You've been shagged." Alright? So top work, Sir Shag. Top work, Fiji. And top work, you guys, for doing the pod on a Monday. I'm sorry I can't be with you live, but kisses from France. Bisous. Mwah, mwah. Talk to you later.
Oh, and those are French kisses as well.
Yeah, invigorating stuff there from James McOnie, who did sound half asleep for half of that. So we appreciate him waking up when I can only assume is the middle of the night to record that. I mean, he could have recorded in the day, but I think it sounds like he set his alarm
very much sounds like he's either woken up at 2 a.m. or he stayed up eating cheese and drinking red wine to give them.
Which is weird because we're recording this and would be 1 a.m. French time, so he could have just
talked to us live
and probably given us the same. But some great insight there, to be honest, from James. Something I'd like to pick up on, it is the sort of tier 2 nations, because It was a bit of a bloodbath. A lot of these games were bloodbaths over the weekend.
Yeah,
I know it was a particularly gnarly round, but nonetheless, it's just not what you want out of what is supposedly a World Cup, and then half the teams are getting pumped by 70 points.
I think it's fantastic that those countries get to come along and really commit. Like, it's great seeing Romania playing and Namibia playing and Australia playing and the other minnows.
Yeah,
oh,
eat
I got
shit,
you,
Australia.
We've been telling you to eat shit for weeks now. In your fucking faces, you absolute losers.
Yeah, they did certainly lose, and we'll get to that as well. But yeah, it is that.
But yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool to see a minnows World Cup. I think.
Is it good for World Rugby to have a team supposedly in the showcase tournament of all the teams that are the best in the world, and then losing by 70, 80 points?
Don't they kind of have these mini World Cups anyway? There's the Pacific Cup where we find who gets into the World Cup, and there's a European one where they all figure it out.
Yeah, well, I guess
that's kind of a mini World Cup.
They're qualifying for the World Cup, and obviously Portugal were. They celebrated when they won, when they finally got accepted into the World Cup, and Spain were devastated to miss out. Teams do miss out. But then when they do get to the big dance, I mean, you don't see in the Football World Cup, for instance, a 10-0 trouncing of the top and bottom teams when it comes to the finals. The parity seems to be much
you're
closer.
right. That is a fault in football, and they should improve that, because it is funny to watch a team get absolutely smoked. You remember when New Zealand got into the Football World Cup? We drew all our games. We didn't lose a single game. We also didn't advance past the round
and I
robin.
guess that's the thing, is it was a miracle in South Africa back in 2010 when we did draw all those games. And I guess that was seen as a miracle that we weren't pumped 10-0. But I guess that shows, I don't know, the difference in the sports. Because we're a minnow when it comes to football, and we're still able to hold them a bit closer. But, I mean, 71 points to 3, it's not pretty.
I reckon they should make it so that tries are worth more at the end of the game. So like it's always a last try wins game.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can play a full game and every team is still in it.
So you get an 80-point try.
You get an 80-point try.
If you score in the 80th minute.
Yeah.
Maybe whatever minute you score in,
yeah,
that's
you
how
get
many
that number
points.
of points. That's a great idea.
It seems like a bad idea.
I think it would help with maths as well, because like you see all the kids looking at it, they'll be having to work out what 57 plus 62 is.
Even I don't know.
Yeah. 119?
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty,
off the top of my head. It might be wrong.
I mean, I can't. Let's table that. We'll see how it goes. We can try push it through.
I'll send it to Graham Henry. I'll let him know.
See if anyone picks up on that action.
I think they'll be keen. I think maths and sports combined is a great idea.
Yeah.
Which is what I love about a 50-22.
Yeah.
Two numbers. It's about sports though as well, and you get the kickback to take it in. Fantastic stuff.
Not a big fan of the 50-22.
What? It's so good for attacking rugby. Are you crazy?
Yeah, I don't love it. I think it's too easy to get.
What?
A 40-20 in the NRL is obviously what they've based this on, and it just seems much harder to get. It's only 10 extra meters, but they're so less likely where you got props and hookers whipping off shit-house kicks and they get a 50-22. I think the reward you get is greater than the skill it takes to get it.
Okay, that's a fair enough reason. I think you're wrong though.
Mm.
And I've got nothing to back
But
that
you
up with.
I also don't think it
it's improved the
encourages
game.
attacking rugby. I think it encourages people to just kick the shit out of it and hit and hope.
No, but then you get to do the attacking rugby afterwards.
Then you get to do a driving maul from 10 metres out.
Yeah. That's
And
what
that's what us as all fans want to see, is more driving mauls.
Well, no, what they have to do is they have to keep the 50-22 and then they have to legalise collapsing a maul.
Yeah.
Which is maybe collapsing a maul within your 22.
You can collapse it if it's 5 meters out.
Yeah,
you can collapse
you're
the
allowed
shit out of
to,
it.
because of course you
I
can.
mean, they basically do anyway.
Yeah. And then occasionally they get away with it, and then occasionally people just get red carded, which is crazy, to ruin an entire game because you were just trying really hard to stop. It's kind of like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it's something.
If you're the defensive team.
I do like the yellow card, red card upgrade. I think that's does seem to speed the game up. They don't muck around,
Yeah.
and the ref can just be like, "Bugger it, you sort it out," which is always nice. Also noticed, I heard a story that the refs aren't wearing watches this World Cup.
They aren't wearing?
No, so they're the official timekeepers, the referees. They're the people who call the game off and on. But there's a bit of a spat between Tudor, who is the watch supplier, and the referee. So apparently after the Japan World Cup, one of the refs, who was retiring, they all get given Tudor watches. He sold his on Trade Me, or the equivalent, eBay. Didn't want it, just was like, hey, look. And then apparently Tudor were very upset by this. And so this World Cup, they didn't supply and they told the refs, you can only wear Tudor watches, but we're not supplying you them. or you can also wear Garmin, which we consider to be a non-competitor. And the refs went, hey, fuck it, we're not wearing any watches.
That's crazy.
So the refs aren't wearing watches.
It's crazy when Tudor come in and then are like Garmin are the minnows of watchmaking and we don't give a shit about them.
Well, I guess they're more they're GPS. They're worried about this other stuff. And Tudor watch, and I want to put on the record who I say are the good guys in this situation.
Oh, okay.
Tudor watches, beautiful timepieces,
Yeah.
and with just great ambassadors. I'm talking Bowden Barrett, Sarah Hiddeny, David Beckham, just some real Goliaths of the game wearing these beautiful watches. And I think the refs need to pull their head in. And Tudor watches, I'll even go as far as say that if you do want to send a couple of watches to the Champagne Rugby podcast, we'll be more than happy to wear them when we broadcast live from the Export Beer Garden studio. We can hold them up to the camera like this the whole time. That is a non-competing watch that I'm currently wearing. And
Tony
we'll
did just demonstrate the fact that he would hold
gladly
his
showcase how good
watch
these
up.
watches are on the podcast.
I can, as a legally blind person as well, who's got the legally blind watch market? No one.
No one?
No one. No one's got blind watches for legally
Would you
blind
used to
people.
listen for the church bells?
I listen for the church bells, yeah.
When you hear bong.
I also just have a really good internal sense of time.
You're like Jack Reacher.
Yeah, I don't get that reference, but okay.
He wakes up and he knows the time.
Does he? Is that his
incredible.
superpower?
Yeah, he's got a few of them.
I reckon that would be pretty useful.
He wakes up and he knows the time. He also can wake himself up whenever he wants. He's got an internal watch in
Alarm
his head.
clock.
So he can go, I want to wake up at 6:01. Bring, he wakes
Does he
up.
have to set that every night, or does he just do it by feels?
In the book, it's usually as if
A
he
book?
sets it.
Whatever, nerd.
These are the I'm not watching the movies. In the book, it usually
You know
says.
Tom Cruise,
He goes,
right?
I set my internal alarm for 5 a.m. and went to sleep. It usually says it. So he goes as if he's going and putting it in his head.
What a weird thing to put in. Why can't he just set an alarm clock?
He
like
also,
everyone?
if the books are to be believed, is maybe the biggest mass murderer since Hitler. I'd say he's
Whoa.
killed 585 people in those books. An absurd
That
amount of
is
people.
nowhere near the amount of people that Hitler killed.
Well, how many he get?
What, like 80 million Jews?
Oh, okay. So, I said second, didn't I? I didn't say first.
So 585. I reckon there are more people than that. I reckon Putin's probably done that.
Oh, well, we don't want to get bogged down in those messy waters of
'Cause I'll tell you what,
geopolitical situation that
let's
we don't
get
understand.
it back to rugby. Russia. They're not here.
They certainly aren't.
Maybe they should have focused a bit more on the rugby and a bit less on the Ukrainian war.
Well, I'm glad to know this podcast will not be broadcast in certain states in Northern Europe. Anything else you want to talk about the All Blacks game, Sam, before we move on?
I just want to shout out again to Lester Fainga'anuku.
Yeah.
Please be my friend. Please accept my friend request. I just think we can hang out. I know you're a lot younger than me, but like you live in Nelson. I'm from Nelson. Like we can hang out. We've got things to talk about. I'm a big Crusaders guy. We can talk about that.
What a performance from Leicester as well, coming in. I think they put him and Caleb Clark on the wings, and I again love Caleb Clark, but I feel like it was a showdown of like, hey, what can you guys do? Caleb had a good game as well.
Both of them had great games.
They smashed it, but Leicester really shoved his hand up, and all I could think of was how deadly would Leicester and Leicester on one wing, Mark Talia, the slipperiest man in rugby union, on the other wing be Will Jordan back at fullback, Bodie on the bench as an impact player.
It's great. It's so good and so good. I think Bodie on the bench is such a good idea. Like he's been the World Rugby Player of the Year for 1,000 times. If he comes on with 15 minutes to play, while the other team has been absolutely is on their last legs, and we've got to face up against Bowden Barrett, one of the greatest tacticians in world rugby in the last couple of years, maybe not so much at the moment, but still, that's a huge impact player.
The only problem I have with that, Sam, and that the other player who I thought played really well this game was Damien McKenzie. First time I've seen him in a while.
Good, do exact same
He
thing.
was at 10, he moved to fullback halfway through the game.
Slippery as well.
But we sort of leave no place for him if we have Bowden on the bench. So do we have a conversation about Damien v. Bodie?
Let's start D-Mac at lock.
At lock?
At lock.
Okay.
Because you could just chuck him up in the air real high because he's little. He could get in, 2 meters higher than everyone else because he's little.
What about scrums?
I don't really know much about scrums. Would he be part of that?
He wouldn't be a good part of it.
He'd be in the second row, right? That's in the middle, so everyone can protect him.
Well,
it's a great idea.
I think his spine would shatter.
That would probably make him a bit more floppy so that you could throw him even further into the air to catch the ball in the line.
A very floppy situation.
Can I just say, I do not want the spine of Damien McKenzie to be broken. I think he is a treasure.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there baying for your blood after.
My blood or who?
Yeah, no, yours.
What?
They disagreed with you. They thought that he shouldn't have his spine broken.
No, that's what I said. I think he shouldn't have his spine broken, but I
Well,
do think he should be playing in the second row in our scrum.
Well, I don't know.
Mainly to help our lock. Our scrum is fine. We just need it'll help the line out.
Yeah, it was good to see those crabbing runs he does back, where he runs about 80 metres, but about 4 of them are forward. I genuinely like them. They're exciting. Half the time he just runs till he finds someone who's faster than. He'll be like, no, not you. Or
Nah,
no,
not you, not you.
Oh, prop.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he'll zoom
Boom
around
town.
them. I
Yeah.
love those big arcing runs he does. It was nice
Yeah.
to see those back. It's just good to have him back in the fold.
Anytime a player runs behind someone and that player has to go whoop and put their hands up in the air like, hey, nope, no, I'm not doing nothing here. I'm trying not to be in the way.
The hands
Love
in the
it.
air is funny. As if it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it's like, whoa,
I know I'm
look at me.
I'm fucking
I'm
up
in the
here.
way.
My hands are up though. You can't. No.
You could, if this guy touches me, you could penalize me
No
right
penalty. No, I got my hands in the air.
now. Yeah.
Can't do anything with that.
It's that thing of like the Wiggles, how they do the finger guns, so you can see their hands.
Oh, is that what it is?
Apparently, I heard someone say that.
So you can see the hands.
Yeah,
I don't-
because they hang out with kids a bunch. I think it got a bit weird.
Explain this, Sam. Explain this concept.
It's to show that they're not diddling the kids.
Oh, good grief. I see. All right. Well, I'm glad I doubled down on that one. It's aggressive stuff. We're going to take a break while we regroup after that horrific admission from Sam. And we will discuss the other results from this round of the Rugby World Cup. Welcome back. It is the Champagne Rugby Podcast, and it wasn't just the ABs playing over the weekend. There was a shit ton of games, the first of which we actually talked about last week, was the France versus Uruguay, where they were given a little bit of a shock. Then it was us on Saturday morning, but then a run of games which were kind of, predictable. I think we got basically all these right. Samoa versus Chile, and they pumped them 43-10.
Fantastic news for Samoa as well, who at the moment are second in their pool. They're getting through to the quarters.
I sure as shit hope so. That is the pool. I'm blowing out. Who else is in their pool?
It is Chile.
Chile.
It is England. It is Argentina. It is Japan. Is it? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's those ones.
Yes.
So at the moment it's Samoa, England, Japan, Argentina, Chile, and that's off the top of my head. And which is amazing. And again, it's this thing. I always say that Argentina are such a great Rugby World Cup team, and so far this time, I suppose they've only played
one game, so we won't get too hard on Argentina. But
so they'll jump back up. But
and Samoa also have played one game. But yeah, strong start. They've got a bonus point win. Elsewhere in that pool this morning, Japan and England played, and it was pretty tight at the start.
I was very excited. I was watching, and into the 60th minute, it was great. Marla managed to headbutt a ball forward, and then everyone went like, "Well, that's a knock on." And England player, I can't remember which one, number 8, whatever his name is, he grabbed the ball, he went and scored a try, and everyone was like, "No, it was a knock on, right?" And he was like, "Nah, it came off his head. Means it's not a knock on," which is exactly right. They scored a try and then scored another couple, I think.
Yeah, there was a couple of
27-12?
tries at the end. It turned into a bit of a blowout, 34-12 in the end. But yeah, there was a time when it was sort of 9-12.
It was great.
Pretty close. We dared to dream.
I was dreaming.
I was dreaming as well. Would have been nice. But that was off the back. I think we had upsets in the air because before that game this morning in the wee early hours, there was, of course, and it's not an upset. I'm not going to say this is an upset.
It's not an upset.
We both predicted this would happen.
This is a team that is ranked higher than the other team in the Rugby World Cup rankings.
But it is sure as shit good to see, and this is Australia going down to a supercharged Fiji. James McOnie talked about it at length. It was a hell of a game, 22-15 in the end, so sort of close, but it didn't really seem like Australia were in the game from the start of the second half.
And crazy to see a Fijian team kicking goals, goal after goal. There were so many penalties, absolutely smashed them. It was wonderful and just so rare and so different from what we expect from Fiji is to be these blockbusting wingers to score a bunch of tries. They did that as well, but they were nailing their penalties and they were playing like England of 2003, just kicking things over.
Yeah, it was powerful stuff.
Great stuff, great games play.
And I think this goes to show the strength of having players who play in really great competitions year round. Whether top 14 or in the Super Rugby competition or whatever it may be, and how that has made that team it's breathing new life into them completely. And we've seen it happen with the Endura and Super Rugby and how they've sort of taken that competition by storm. That's translated into this World Cup. And I honestly think on their day, game on. We don't know who they're going to be able to knock over. They lost to Wales in that first game, which was a real kick in the cock. But I think
I'm sorry to hear they kicked you in the cock.
They could have won that game easily. There's a lot of what ifs, ands and buts. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, you watch Barney as well. That's a great song.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, game on. And the only thing that is devastating is just how that pool's going to land now, because there is still the possibility that Fiji won't get through to the quarters.
Yeah. So what we need for Wales to beat Australia.
We certainly, well, that's what you'd like to see, which again, excruciating for Australian rugby, who are our big rivals. Let's not forget that the Bledisloe Cup, I would say, would probably be held as the second highest trophy in the All Blacks trophy cabinet.
Yeah.
I think they'd love that. They would love locking that away. This is and this team that Australia have, I mean, through sort of a drastic self-destruction with Eddie Jones at the helm of not picking Hooper and Cooper, they've opened themselves up to not make the quarterfinals. And it's crazy to think that.
It's crazy.
If you
it's
think
absolute scenes.
20 years ago, they won the World Cup. 20 years later, they might not make the quarters.
They'd won they won 91 and 99. So for ages until 2007 when South Africa won, they were the team that had won the most World Cups. Australia, the whole way through. Did I say the right years?
I don't think you said the right years. They won 2000.
91?
England won 2003. Forgive us, please.
In 99, yeah, that was right.
But nonetheless, this is a
but then, yeah, that's like 20 years ago.
But you see them.
That's so long ago.
You watch the game, and they just don't seem to have the depth of players, and that probably comes from not selecting the good players. Eddie Jones, and James McOnie mentioned this as well. He's worried about him, and I'm a little bit worried about him too, because I feel like he's going to do the thing that Sean Johnson did a while back when they lost, when the media was against him, and he'll do you's got what you wanted, didn't you? You's got what you wanted. We lost. We got bundled out. You all wanted it to happen, and he'll sort of turn it around on the media as if they're to blame. And it's a tactic you see happen all the time when people basically refuse to take any responsibility. He almost did a preemptive strike when they left, when he was wearing the Akubra before they left, and he's like, you guys, too much negativity, give yourself an uppercut. He was already planting the seeds of them shitting the bed so he could turn around and say, it was your fault. You got what you wanted. We suck. And taking no responsibility for himself.
Do you think they... I always feel like he only got the team back, 4 weeks ago or something like that? He was only coach for a year? Is that right?
He's won one game so far this season.
Yeah.
And one game.
And, that's why I'm quite excited about the fact that Razor's going to become the coach in the beginning of a World Cup cycle. I think that's so smart to do it like that. I think, whereas the Eddie Jones thing of, hey, let's give him the team with 6 months out and let him win one game before.
Yeah.
Lead into it. It's just he's playing with someone else's team.
Yeah, and it's particularly tough on Rennie, whose team it was, sort of had it taken off him and had better results than what's happened now.
Yeah, exactly right.
Rugby
And probably
Australia
was building up towards the World Cup and trying new things and putting all the systems in place to get them ready for this big event. And then they were like, nah, bo.
Yeah, it's certainly a Daryl Tuffy, Sam, which means a tough one.
Oh, I thought he was a cricket player.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
We can't have this conversation again. We simply cannot. What a game in Fiji.
Yeah,
Jesus.
shout out Fiji, wonderful people, lovely place. Let's go there.
Yeah, beautiful stuff to watch. Wales, who beat Fiji the first time, they beat Portugal, but only 28 points to 8.
I thought that was interesting too, as well. For
Seems
me,
like too few points.
Yeah, Wales are a good team, and Portugal are ranked a bit further down, and it just doesn't seem quite as big as I think.
I don't think Wales are a good team. I think that they're definitely going to be they also ran this World Cup for sure.
Okay.
Also ran this World Cup. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to feature if they make the quarters, that'll be their last hurrah.
Wouldn't it be interesting if the World Cup rankings were done like Pool 1 is the teams ranked 1 through 5. Pool B, I did Pool 1, but Pool A, Pool B is the teams 6 through 10. So and so forth. So you end up...
Why would you do that?
Just to be interesting.
It's not interesting. It's a bad idea.
It's kind of interesting. Well, it's better than what we've got this year.
Well, it's basically what we have this year. You're almost describing the reality that faces us with teams, the two pool A and B have the top 8 teams.
What if we didn't find the pools until the day the World Cup started? So you showed up, you didn't know who you were going to play. You had to prepare for every team.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, it would be an administrative nightmare. I don't know how players would buy tickets to the games. I don't know how broadcasters would work out what they're going to show when.
It would be nuts, but
where would the teams go?
It's all played at Eden Park here in
Sam,
New Zealand.
I'm not going to say this is the worst idea you've had this podcast, because you did say Damien McKenzie should be a lock, but it's not the best idea you've had.
I didn't say he should be a lock. I said he should play number 5. The other reason I think Damien McKenzie should play with a number 5 on his back, because everyone would be like, what the hell is that guy doing there? They'd be so focused on that, they wouldn't see Leicester Fainga'anuku scoring 9 tries in the corner.
You think that's the thing stopping?
That's the thing that is going to distract teams. Like, these All Blacks are crazy. They've named Damien McKenzie at lock.
That would be an interesting one, just to name the team. Didn't they do that in the Rugby League World Cup? They just named them like almost alphabetical order. Or maybe it was like the number of caps you had was your 1 to 13.
That's
and you had,
so funny.
You had the same jersey the whole World Cup. So everyone it was just a lolly scramble of jersey numbers. Maybe it was the order you were a kangaroo or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so just an absolute shit show. So the back line was all
We do it
mixed
so
up.
often. We'll have the fullback jump up and play first receiver.
In cricket, the numbers don't mean anything, but they still have the numbers on. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we've got the Whakamana Express wearing 69, hilariously.
That is funny. Oh, shout out to Fiji, who beat Australia for the first time in 69 years.
Oh,
Nice.
that is
nice.
Was it in Nice?
It was in the town of Nice.
Was it genuinely?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, come on, Sam. It's misinformation.
Oh,
This is not a misinformation
The
podcast.
game was played in Abu Dhabi.
I believe it. Ireland beat Tonga. I was hoping, again, I watched the game, and then I watched halfway through, was like, but no way.
Yeah.
Ireland too strong, and they're looking.
Ireland are on fire, eh? They're great.
Yeah,
They're a great team. Tonga are really good as well, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but Ireland, things are coming together nicely. And we can claim that because Aki, New Zealander.
Yeah, I know. It was
Bring him back.
tough to see Bundy Aki, James Lowe on one of
Yeah.
the wings carving up.
James Lowe, you might know this, famously Nelson College, Nelson, my hometown, friends with Paul Williams,
Yeah.
the Taskmaster's assistant.
James Lowe, what a guy. What an absolute guy. There's a few of those people who are just lost in New Zealand rugby, didn't get selected. I think he was initially not selected for New Zealand schools, and that put a bad taste in his mouth to start with, and then couldn't crack the All Blacks despite absolutely ripping up. It sort of reminds me of if Sean Stevenson goes and plays for Ireland or Scotland somewhere in 4 years, in next World Cup, and scores a bunch of tries, and we're like, oh, I can't believe
We can't let that guy
we
go.
let him go. It's just that.
He'll be in the team.
And Mac Hansen as well on the other wing for Ireland, an Aussie boy.
Yeah.
He didn't make any. I think he played a little bit and couldn't really cut through. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go up to the Northern Hemisphere. And now one of the stars of the World Cup. They've got two wingers who are carving it up. Neither of them are born in Ireland, but that shows good recruitment. And we've obviously got our own version of that.
We do
down
that
here.
too.
But interesting to see, I thought. And speaking of Samoa, the Samoa game, one thing I did want to bring up, which is an amazing note from Lima Sopoanga after the game, where someone picked his tee up after the game, and he put a plea out on social media saying, can the person who picked my tee up give it back to me? It's the tee I've had since I was 14 years old.
Oh, my God.
He's been kicking off this
Get
tee
him his bloody tee back. What the hell is this?
for Super Rugby Championships, All Black campaigns, playing over...
Did he write his name on it?
I sure hope so. Maybe a cell phone number on the bottom, but someone's picked it up and carried it off, and now he doesn't have a tee. That's a tough
Get
time.
him his bloody tee back.
I'd
This
love
is
to see
crazy.
reunite Lima with the tee.
I want to focus all my efforts on this.
On this,
Yeah. This is the thing that I care most about in the world now.
I'm glad to have introduced it to you. But yeah,
Lima,
so
come on.
someone's picked it up, because I imagine that these kickers have thousands of the tees, and they're just mass produced. But he must have got it just the way he likes it. Maybe cut it down, maybe added
Isn't
some.
Lima the capital of Peru? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, just as an aside, just throwing that out there.
I was just thinking about it.
I thought you were going to connect that somehow to something else.
Didn't they play Chile? Which is a country right next door to it. So that's pretty cool. So there is a connection there, just a
border.
very long border.
Yeah, there is a connection.
Yeah.
And there's a wall on it. Makes sense to me. The last game of the round Well, it's not, but it's the last one that we haven't talked about so far. South Africa romping home to Romania and ramming it right down their rusty rombones. They real is alliteration for you.
It's really good.
76-0.
Yeah, good score. I was thinking our 71-3 was looking pretty good, and then 76-0, you're like, that's better.
Yeah, it is better. It also held them out. I thought that was one good thing about the All Blacks performance is that they held them out. It would have been easy at the end to let a sneaky try through. Go, we already scored a shit ton of points, and they'll go, oh, let's get a squeaky.
There you go. You can have one, guys.
We didn't do it. We didn't let one through, and neither did South Africa. But yeah, again, the lopsided nature of the tournament, 76 points.
How many people live in Romania?
I'm going to say 7 million people.
7 million in Romania, do you reckon?
No, probably too many people, to be
I
honest.
reckon it's probably about the same as New Zealand. Let's look this up.
Well, I was shocked to find out that only 2 million people live in Namibia on the weekend. Yeah, so actually pretty...
In Romania?
19 million people
Holy
in Romania.
Holy shit!
We just had chimed into
How
our
come
area.
we're so good at rugby?
Well, they also don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah. That's how we're terrible at everything else.
Yeah, they're doing other
nice.
stuff, and they're probably like $1.50 a litre petrol.
19 million people. What do Romania do?
I think they're into vampire stuff, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
Is that Transylvania? Is that Romania?
They're too busy sucking blood.
Yeah, well, it turns out they also suck at rugby because they lost 76-0 against South Africa, and they're also looking good. You'd have to say that Ireland and South Africa pool is looking pretty shit hot.
Tussle. And apologies to Scotland who have to deal with that despite clearly being... They could top Pool C easy. They could beat Fiji, Argentina and England and Japan every day of the week.
Yeah, it certainly makes you wonder how the... And again, Sam, this comes down to the pools, which you discussed earlier. You were saying put all the good teams in one pool.
Yeah, I think they should actually spread them out.
Okay.
I reckon it should go like 1, 2, 3, and 4 in 4 separate pools, and then 5 goes with 1, 6 with 2, and so on.
Okay.
You know, like the way they do it.
The way they do it, but they do it.
But they do if they do it like 1 year out rather than 9 years out. I think that would probably work better. Call me old-fashioned. I just think that's a good idea, and I think I'm the first person to ever discuss that as an idea.
Makes sense to me, as an idea.
Either that or just a spinny wheel, where it's just completely random.
Yeah, be good.
It'll be fun.
Ping pong balls. What they do at
Thailand.
No, well, they do that in Thailand, but they also do it for the Football World Cup, right? They just get all the teams, put ping pong balls into they put into another ball. They don't put into a person, and they pull them out at random and go, "This is who you're playing. Oh, you guys!" And
it's pretty cool.
I mean, it does give you a chance if you are one of the minnow teams to be playing, like an Argentina or a Brazil. So that's kind of exciting.
Why'd you say Brazil weird?
Brazil. That's how they say it.
Brazil.
It's like with a P.
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah.
Brazil.
Yeah, let us know if that is incorrect, because I'm sort of just vibing.
I reckon it's probably Brazil.
Yeah, and
Brazil.
I was getting a lot of shit. Commentated the Warriors on the weekend, up the wires, obviously.
Why? Because you're a piece of shit?
Well, no, because the Warriors are a great team, and I'm able to hold 2 separate things in my head at one time.
Oh.
I am able to love the All Blacks and the Warriors equally. And copping a lot of shit about the vibes on this podcast. During that Warriors broadcast. It was really ruining my night, to be honest.
What were they saying about our vibes? Our vibes are
they were
great.
saying, Tony, ask about the vibes, you fuckwit.
Oh, that's because...
These sort of things.
That's because you do often ask about what the vibes are like.
Yeah, well, it's because it's an interesting question.
Every day, you say hello to me, you giggle at yourself, and then you say, how are the vibes?
Yeah.
And I say, they're fine.
It's because you're giving someone an opportunity to talk about something that you don't know. I don't know what question to ask because I don't know what you've been doing today. So, how's the vibes there? You could ask, anything could happen.
So you're saying, like my vision of that is, what have you been up to?
Yeah, boring question.
But yours is, how's the vibes? Which you're right, is the greatest question ever asked by a journalist ever.
A journalist?
That's what you are, right?
No,
don't you walk
on
aren't you the sports guy?
Yeah, but so does
project?
the cameraman works on the show as well. He's not a journalist, he's a cameraman.
Are they not? I thought they went to journalism school.
They probably did, to be honest.
They went to broadcasting school at least.
There must be some real beef there.
Yeah.
So let that abuse fly, I guess, on 3236.
I'll tell you.
There is a Warriors
I'll tell you what.
broadcast.
I'm going to go to the next time that those guys are changing. I heard the Warriors might have gotten to the semi-final. Is that right?
The preliminary final, yes.
I'm going to go up to them and I'm going to murder them.
Who?
The people that are giving you shit about.
Oh, no, they're just unnamed people on a text line. It's totally.
Oh, those people. Give me their numbers. I will hunt them down and I will end them and I will destroy them.
Okay, I'll let you. So if you text through, or you better worry, there's a man coming for you.
Okay, yeah. So everyone, if you have any issue with Tony Lyall discussing the vibes, I will find you.
Which is good, because I don't really mind.
And I will kill you. This is my
on
solemn vow.
On that note, and you've got some time to do it, because the All Blacks have got a weekend off. They're not playing this weekend. They're putting their feet up and relaxing.
Is bullshit.
I think it's perfect, to be honest.
I am in this to watch rugby.
Yeah, there's still plenty on. It's just not the All Blacks. There's a whole bunch of games. It gives us other players a chance to rest up. Tyrell Lomax, the giant gash on his leg, can finally heal properly. Brodie Retallick can let the rest of his knee fix itself up. We can all just take a bit of a break and recoup. Italy are playing Uruguay. That's the first game on Thursday.
Oh, that'll be good.
That will be good. I think Italy will knock that one on the head.
I think so too.
It'll be nice because it is in Nice as well.
Is it?
France, Namibia is another.
I reckon France is going to win that one.
I think it's probably likely. That is in Marseille. I think France will take that one easily and put themselves right at the top of our pool. An interesting game on Saturday, real early in the morning at 3:45, Argentina versus Samoa.
Oh, yeah. See, I always say Argentina's good in World Cups. I've said it twice this podcast already. Surely this is their game.
I'm going to pick Samoa for that one, just to mix it up. We often pick the same game.
But please, get Lima Sopoaga his tea back.
We need it. Georgia, Portugal at midnight on Sunday.
Georgia.
Yeah, I think Georgia.
Trounce them.
It'll be close. And then, speaking of trouncing, England versus Chile on Sunday at 4:45 a.m. And we'll talk about this again later on in the week where we do another podcast and basically just recap all of this information.
Yeah.
But England versus Chile, we're both going in England. South Africa, Ireland.
Oh, this is the big one. This is one. Well, what time is Wednesday on? I want to watch that.
Sunday, 8 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I might get up and watch that. That'd be pretty good. I think I want Ireland to win. Because that means we then play them in the quarters. Whoever wins that game, we'll end up playing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I want to play Ireland because I think it'll be so funny if we knock them out in the quarters.
Yeah, I think it's a good option. Then we've got Scotland, Tonga, which I'm going to go Scotland.
Yeah, go Scotland.
I
love Tonga to win, but Scotland.
And then this is one of the other big ones. On Monday, the last game of the round, it is Wales, Australia.
Go Wales!
Go Wales. Australia's chance.
Go the Daffodils.
In Lyon, it'll be the losing in Lyon if they get knocked out there, and that will be their World Cup over. If they lose two games, that'll be them.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, just imagine. Just dream for a second, Tony Lyall.
Absolute scenes.
Close your eyes.
In Lyon. But we will be back on Friday to talk some more about what's going on. The teams will be named. We can lick our lips and look over the weekend's action.
Oh, I thought you were doing alliteration again. Lick our lips and look over
that
lovely...
is alliteration.
Yeah.
3's enough.
Yeah?
3's fine.
Yeah, I think 2's enough.
2's enough.
As a Sam Smith, big fan of the old alliteration.
Yep, I like it too, but not as much as you. That's assonance, what I did then.
I didn't even notice that. What did you say?
I said, I do too, but not as much as you.
Well, it's rhyming, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what assonance is, a repetition of a vowel sound.
Yeah, but you can do it within, you do it more often within a sentence. I write kids' books. I know a lot
kids'
about
books. Hang on. Sorry, I didn't know I was with a regular Dr. Zeus over
I'm
here.
basically Eminem, but for children.
You're Eminem, but for children?
Yeah.
Nice. He definitely isn't for children. There's a lot of
that's right.
words that shan't be named.
Exactly right.
All right. Well, we'll see. Listen in on Friday. We'll be back with some more Champagne Rugby podcast.
Go the All Blacks and other teams that aren't the All Blacks.
Take a rest of the All Blacks, and we'll catch you on Friday.
Bye.